Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have XIN ZHAO not going Gore Drinker. You don't have to be boring to climb. And, you know, we have obviously one of the better Lee Sin players on EU West at the moment climbing nicely using Duskblade. He's in the Discord server. We have a XIN ZHAO main who's always been more of an Eclipse enjoyer, but now is on a Trinity Force Black Cleaver combo which cannot be disputed. But Lethality Spike, Giga Damage for a mid-game spiking jungler, we like that because get your lead, use it well, use it aggressively, and close. Now, obviously, things like Hecarim and other such champions can really thrive on the Sterix gauge. For some reason, well, not for some reason, this is the best clear in the game, red Krugs Raptors, or red Raptors Krugs, or Raptors red Krugs, and I covered that on the main channel, whole video dedicated to that clear and why I just said that and all the different decisions you have. But I would not expect to have an Anivia Zyra bottom lane on my team. And so when I'm observing this as I'm finishing off my KFC, I would basically say, look, I'm probably not ganking bot lane right now. This is Hona as well as getting these kills. I mean, if your Zyra starts E level 1, you know it's doomed. Don't even go to the lane, man. Like, just don't even go to the lane. Especially against this particular comp. Like, you just always want to have a QW auto attack electrocute proc against them. Comet is great, but Comet is dumb against a Enchanter. They can just heal up all your damage, whereas electrocute all in, super good. Much like why we like to play Eclipse and Dirk on this champion, right? Because you have that all-in potential at one item. Now, the Hecarim's going to be full clearing upside, and Yorick is our top laner. We have the Shoving Jace for Prio. Anivia is dead. This is Irelia, not Anivia. She's going to move down now, using that Prio to get in our face. There's nothing more vexing and more irritating than this happening if you're a top laner. So if you can try and prevent this for us, we'll be eternally grateful. Irelia, though, wants to take this fight, but the problem is it's a very strong fisty-fisty jungler who has healing every third auto attack from his passive, who has a knockup, who has a gap close, who has an attack speed steroid, and just a lot of 80 damage at the get-go anyway. And Jace is going to rotate over here. Hecarim decides to full clear and rotate over here. Can he get to the Yorick? No, he gets knocked up and knocked down. So the reason why we like this champion is because if we need to 3-camp gank, it's guaranteed. Guaranteed. If we need to go mid lane, it's guaranteed. If we then want to cut in after ganking mid lane to invade the full clearing jungler, we can do that as well. And if a top laner invades us, we don't have to run away and cry. And credit to the Graveyard Man for actually rotating there. Most top laners will not do that. But, I mean, so she's most likely warded this and sees this and wants to come on down again. And in this point, you know, you just kite it down. You have smite. You just make sure you grab this up here. Pantheon rotates over as well. This is the kind of stuff you can do your best to troll. The gate speed up at the flash, and Jace rotates over. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. The thing that you learn from this as a jungler is laners do help you. Now, I don't want to hear one little thing about laners not helping you, because I coached a Bronze Echo just last night as well. I coached a Platinum at least the other day. I coached Diamond, and now I'm doing this, okay? In every single occurrence where laners were required to rotate for Herald fights, for Dragon fights, or for these invades, they did so. Now, will they do it all the time? No. And will they then die to the Hecarim anyway? Yeah. But they do help us way more. Now, the thing is, we've seen this. We know he's going to do this and then rotate to the top lane. This is a big, thick wave, so he might not actually go for it, especially given that it's a Yorick. What's interesting about this, though, is the Hecarim compromised himself to take this Scuttle for 28, to take this Scuttle for 32. His Krugs will not be available, so he's going to have to go to the Raptors, which we will know is XIN ZHAO. We can see this right here. And then he's not going to cut up to the Krugs that will spawn thereafter, because that'll put him at the top side in a very ungankable lane at this stage, with minimal counter jungling, because the XIN ZHAO passed upside. Okay, if you're high elo, hopefully you're following me, and you should be. And if you're not, hopefully you are. So what we do instead is we're going to kite down to cut out the second sequence by 1 camp in lieu of the free kill we got. This also means we can match the XIN ZHAO should he decide to go Raptors Krugs gank or gank Krugs Raptors Dragon. We're just on the same side as him, which is great in theory. So the XIN ZHAO knows this, is tracking this, is thinking about this. We have no prior currently, so we're not going to risk a silly invade, right? Now, will Avai, Shyvana, and such champions probably just go do Dragon and low elo? Yeah, probably. And the best thing I can tell you is don't go coin flip it for no reason. Take your camps. Like, if they want to compromise all of their tempo minion through that, look at this, you see? This is why we hug the wall, okay? I'm seeing this not enough. You hug the wall, So you're not seen by the side ward. This side ward is terrible, because now we can just hug the wall, go up around the top side. Now, we know that the Scuttle Crab is taken because we saw the Hecarim die 24, cross 28. So what we do is we go around the ward, we saw him place beautiful pathing, and we have an absolute free gank here. We're just going to dash in there with our EQ, and we don't even need to use our W to finish or whatever, so it's wonderful. Because you can do that as well, right? If you've got a great angle of approach, where you don't need that W elongation for your E range, you can just go in, get your knockup and so on. If they flash away, which Pantheon does have here, then you can use your W's like a finish. And while that happened, I just wanted to go back. You see the Hecarim went back to base because he cuts it into a 3 camper, right? Instead of a full camper. 4 camper, full camper, 4 camper. And he doesn't go bot lane because, again, kind of a tough one for him. So he just goes back to base. XIN ZHAO says, look, I've done all of these things. Nice. Boom, boom. Circumvention. Kill. Nice. Top side. Snack this. Snack this. No Yorick, unfortunately, for our gank, but we should be, well, we're not quite 6, but we'll be reasonably close. And we could, in theory, go top lane. But you have to assess ultimate usages, flashes, 2v1. Knowing the Hecarim at this stage could just as easily go to the dragon. Like, he could straight up go solo dragon right now. And you could argue it's probably not a bad idea. Especially when he did this down. And this is going to be up in isolation with no real sequence thereafter. So the fact that he shows up here means, oh, he's not on the dragon. How fun and cool and interesting. Can we 2v2? Now, he's based, but why would you go here? Oh. Oh my. Oh my. Well, he doesn't die because Hecarim's got movement speed, but that's a lot of damage. You see what I'm saying about this champion? We just all-in'd him and said no. And what was it? It was the lethality Dirk spike. We're going to flash something we didn't really need to flash because the W was going to hit, but if it did, he died, right? Huge here. Huge aggressive jungling tendency, but I don't understand the Hecarim. You know, you see the XIN ZHAO here go back to base super duper low. Then he shows up here from the bottom side with 8 more CS. His Ezreal's so not moving in the river. We're roaming, guys. Hello. We're roaming. and Zyra's like, I'm going to match this roam. I can do it. I can do it. Okay, good. We're maxing you, thank goodness. Oh. Oh. Oh dear me, there's a bit of a fiesta zone, I think, in this game. Regardless, the Hecarim sees the XIN ZHAO do this, so we know he came from the bot side. Krog's Raptors have taken. We know after this he's going to go top side to take these camps, right? So when we leave base to go Krugs, there's no reason to go invading because we know he's going to be there. Waste of time. We get chunked and kicked out. So we've lost all control by bad tracking, by bad extrapolation. The XIN ZHAO's like, you're not meant to be here, but I'll definitely fight you. And that's why we like this itemization spike. Obviously, Moss Stomp is great for survivability versus kind of comp. Like, this comp is pretty irritating for us. And if you're not going Gore Drinker, Moss Stomp just adds a bit of juice. But Blue Pet, I feel like, is the most default pet on almost every jungler in the game. You don't really have to think about it. And you can kind of adapt to red or green as necessary. Now, after this, Hecarim could do a few random things. I might be inclined, if there wasn't a ward here, I might be inclined to just hit this plant over here. Hit this plant over here. Because we don't exactly know what Hecarim would have done when he was low. Like, there is a bit of flexation in what he could do in terms of randomness. So I would hit this to gather information. Now, I have no idea what happens, so let's press the button and see where he is. Okay, fortunately, he's pathing to the top side. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, he could easily try and do something bot side. Whether or not it's a good decision, again, isn't relevant. On the main channel, launching at the same time as this, a Rengar does the same thing into some same situation and actually gets a kill from it. It makes no sense because there's no camps here, but he goes for it and he gets 2 kills. And our protagonist actually struggles to get back in the game from it because it didn't adjust properly. So that's why I'm thinking about those things, right? In theory, okay, this makes sense, full sequence, but also could randomly do this. Let me get a bit of information, cost me 2-3 seconds to see, okay, we're good. Hecarim, in the meantime, goes to the mid lane. He doesn't even have to use his R in this collapse here, so this is nice, obviously. He's doing his Raptors, doing his red, doing his Krugs. He sees a low HP Jace. He's like, ha ha ha, I am the power. This champion's so stupid. I know he's not actually performing that well right now, but it's not because he is in a bad state. It's because Hecarim mains just have no idea what items to build ever. Like, you always just build the wrong items, and when you build Duskblade, you play like you have Divine Sundra, and when you build Divine Sundra, you think, oh, I survive, but you don't do the damage of Duskblade. You got to think about your engages. It's less about the itemization, it's more about your decisions with it. right? So that's very important. So now we're going to do this and obviously translate to the top lane. We see this, we can extrapolate this. Now he does R. We're going to wait for the counter gank here. We're kind of just baiting in the yard because we want to do the juice. Maybe we waited a little too long, but I think it's absolutely fine. She goes in, so it's basically dead. We're going to click this here. We do hit the W. We can smite him to slow him, make sure we get that second proc of the E. We do have flash for an instack, but we're just going to make sure we flash and get that knockup from the Q, and we'll finish it off. But we could technically have flashed to ult, but with Hecarim and the movement speed, it's better just to get your guaranteed flash stuns. I think it's really important. So that was nicely done. We'll do this now. Pantheon obviously has his man drop button, but it's down at this particular stage. So that's an important thing. Like, we are focusing on so many things when we do these VOD reviews. In game, it's okay to not note when the Pantheon uses ult. So try your best to pay attention for when he does use it to get to lane or collapse on you. But obviously in these situations, be cautious about where he is, because he could just easily drop his ballsack on your face and you got a Halo 2 teabagging, and it's just the whole thing, right? So from this, obviously we can shove some plates down, move on and take the Herald. We see the Hecarim show up here, 75 CS, let's do a bit of mid-game tracking, and he'll hold that one, 78 CS after that, and now he disappears. So if he shows down here, right, with an extra 8 CS, 86, we know he did his Wolves and his Grub. If he shows up with an extra 12, we know and a blue buff, we know he did all of this, right? So understand that that's something you can read also. So 78 leaving the mid lane. We'll do this. We can fall back to blue and reset, I think, because we can shadow him down here. We're pinging this, obviously, but we don't know. And that's the thing. We don't know exactly where he's going to go, so we ping caution. Maybe. Maybe. But rule of thumb, if you take an objective here from this great play, they're most likely going to try and go bottom side to take a dragon. And we can see that here. He's going to cut in for this. He'll go Wolves into the cut with his bot lane. He doesn't go Grump first. He goes straight for the outside and roll. Snack this sucker up before the XIN ZHAO can show up. Oh, look, 86, because you get 4 CS from the dragon. Remember that. So, Wolves, 82. 86 from the dragon. We should get 90 from the Grump when that's done. And I could foresee a gank here. Ult is up. Ghost is coming up. Passive on Anivia. Yeah, I could see something, but you can also, at this particular stage, say, look, 550 gold. Guy's not going to really want to spend, but sometimes they're forced to, right? So let's see what he actually does. Yeah, he just cuts across. He basically says, nah, I'm just going to go here. Why? Because this man, our protagonist, XIN ZHAO, could have been going bottom lane, but we have no idea. He has Herald, and I guess he just didn't want to fight with it, but you could argue he probably should have, right? The enemy jungler, the XIN ZHAO, is fed. He can go bottom side. We took the dragon. Will he gank bot lane and try and Herald even in a 2v2 because he's so fat? Or will he go mid lane and use it there? The Hecarim has to make that decision, that tracking, that read. If he goes bottom lane and nothing happens, what is the risk for him? He just sits there, he sits there with nothing, right? No econ. He just sits here waiting for the XIN ZHAO, doesn't show up. He goes here, it's like, oh, great. So what he decides to do is path the other way, grab Raptors, because there has been a tendency from our jungler to gank mid lane and not bottom lane. So he cuts his losses by basically saying, look, I'm going to guarantee my own econ and play the more likely play, which worked out nicely for him. 3-2-1, 108 to 86. He's sequencing okay, and obviously we know he's going down to the bottom side, but there's no camps here, right? So now it's like he's just drifting instead of maybe counter jungling. So if you see this, you probably want to drift upward and maybe sneak some stuff away if you're feeling a bit more risky. Yes, you can go hold this wave too, but there's an RG scuttle top side. You know, your red side camps, well, your blue side camps are going to spawn before the Raptors, but your Krugs will spawn thereafter. But he doesn't really have anything to do. So you can either counter jungle or go hold and push waves. Oh look, they're roaming mid lane again. Pantheon is there as well. It's warded, so we can't sit in the bush. It's warded. Oh, it's the red team's warded. I'm fooling myself. It's not warded. We're going to go in and bait it in. It's a big thing to recognize. In game, it's pretty easy to recognize that kind of thing. But yeah. Red team pinged it because it's a blue ward. There we go. So you will know it's clear, hopefully. You're not being stupid like me. And you can just go in here with a nice collapse from the roam from Yorick. Now we can float to the top side easily. We can cover this if we need to. Yorick should be up there. We can gank it. And we're looking at what? Pretty even game. There you go, Zyra. There you go. That's it. Set a trap, hit the E combo, and get the kill. Good job. Thumbs up. Kite this. See, you're trying to get as many places as possible. There's the blue trinket from the Irelia. Knows this guy is liking his gankings. And this guy's, like, again, bottom lane, right? Just sequencing and holding. This is the risk with Hecarim. He's so damn good at mid-game power spike farming. Like, it's so difficult to stick with him. So here now, when I see him down there, I might be inclined, and this is not a joke, I might be inclined to just maybe go yeet something. Like, immediately. I see him, snack it, I would leave this, snack these things and cut up, just because we see the wave with Maiden crashing, and we know that if the guy resets or passes upside, he's going to most likely be coming for the red, or if he wants to kill mid lane, go through the Raptors zone. Unlikely he's going through this zone. Could do, but most likely people like to go for the red directly, don't they? They like to go for the red and then flex Krugs or Raptors. Human tendency. Could he go Krugs? Yeah, of course. Like, it's all possible. It's just you got to make the read in game, like, what do I think he's going to do based upon how he's been behaving? So you take the red, you snack the Krugs. If he shows up, you go, oh, and you kite backwards. And you can make that noise too if you like. No one will hear you. Like you all heard me. Let's see. Oh, right, of course. And instead, we actually chill quite a bit to go for this. We force a flash up from the Irelia. We're just going to go in here using the WE. And we don't quite get the Q knockup, but close enough. So I do like the idea of more denial, crash, and dive here, right? Jace is going to move over here. Whoa, there's a pony for the run. Here he comes with the man drop, ball testicles, right? Ball testicles. And, Jesus, we never grow up, do we? We never grow up. It's just, I can't help it. It is what it is. We're just man children in some moments. Nice kill there by the XIN ZHAO as well. And it's just basically an unfair 3v3. Now you can look at this and go, hey, cool. Amazing play. Way better than what you said. I mean, don't results-based it. Either direction. My view is that she knows it's warded. She saw you. She's going to be hovering. I can get a better angle of approach by stealing all of this while he's here going back to base. I can steal 2 camps and go for a dive knowing he's going to rotate. And if I know he's going to rotate, I don't have to go for the dive. I can chill in the bush and wait and assess. Can do it here too, right? Just a different way of thinking about the same play. And I think that's important. What makes the most sense to you and what can your champion allow you to do? For example, as a Zyra jungle, I would probably not want to dive the Irelia there because my plants give her the Q mobility, which isn't what we want, right? Sure, I could one-shot her and stuff like this, but she has mobility, whereas XIN ZHAO could probably do quite a lot. It's a little close, but it's great too. So you're seeing here with the, you can't see, that's unfortunate for you, sucks for you, but I'll read it to you, and as always, MOBALYTICS match history, linked in the description. Damage dealt, 506, damage blocked, 1843. Would you have healed 1843 from Gore Drinker while doing the same amount of damage, while having the Dirk spike? I don't think so. That's why this item's so damn good. Lee Sin, XIN ZHAO, Yarvin, you can go on him as well. But he does like Dustblade historically. But there's just so much missed potential with Eclipse, I think, still. Even though they have changed it a lot. Now, of course, nothing on the top side. They're going to go in here. The egg will be... Oh, that's a greedy alternate. No reason to ult that, Mr. Horseman. Guys, this is what I love the most. XIN ZHAO makes all the plays top side, doesn't take the top side camps, goes back to base, goes straight to the bottom side, knowing that they're going to try something on the bottom side because of the turret, and says, I'm going to do something about it. Or, wait, is he? He can do, but now he's put himself in a bit of an odd situation. We have WE mobility over to Krugs if we need to escape. Now you see Hecarim leaving, he's a level ahead. How is this champion? Like, this is why I hate it. But we'll E in, we'll get the smite, we'll get our Q, although he'll run away, we'll just use the W, use the ult to finish him nicely. We won't have W up until we kill the Pantheon here, which of course we do. There you go. Collector, Eclipse, haha. This champion does a lot of damage. So you can build damage. Just be a bit smart about your positioning, because it does make you more squishy, obviously. But this is what we want, right? We have 9.6k gold with 2.4k gold ahead of the Hecarim, yet he was a level up. That's where I have this disconnect still with champions like that. Sure, farming isn't actually that strong. We know this. But it still feels weird, right? That the guy still somehow is a level ahead. Like, you're literally smurfing this game up, and he was a level ahead. The guy's down now, almost 3k gold, and he's the same level as you, right? Let's have a look. Not quite now. We caught up from the kill, so we'll be a level ahead shortly because we're still on the map and we didn't die. That does help, and of course, we got the kills bottom lane. But you understand what I'm saying, right? It doesn't feel good when you're actually outplaying somebody and you go down there and you're like, why is he level 12? I know he's holding waves. I understand it. We get it. It just doesn't feel good. Does that make sense? Yeah. But Hecarim's still, like, overall, you can deal with him. It's not a case where it's a champion's get broken. He's just really strong in the right hands, and, you know, that's really tough to deal with. The face, like, look at this. Like, that's very difficult to deal with for a lot of champions. But XIN ZHAO's mobility, we have the York collapsing from the top side. We will still get the kill. We're going to flash to the other side of the... Everybody died. that happened way too quickly. That's why I do not cast. You have to choose what you want to say out loud, and I want to say all of it, but then you can't, unless you can absolutely beatbox the words. Either way, nice shift. We're in the middle of 3 people. We shift down, we flash up, we reposition beautifully, and we keep hitting spells of cooldown. I think that's just something so normal. Use your spells of cooldown. Get that muscle memory. Know your haste, right? Look at it in game. Say, okay, right, I got what here? 7.59, I got 5.52, 4.83. Get used to the spikes. Get used to the spikes of the cooldowns at different phases of the game, so you don't have to look down all the time, and you can just play around them. Because that's the most important thing, right? If you use your E, you activate your Q, you got your W going in there as well. You alt to finish, like down on the bottom side. Okay, when are the abilities up again? While I'm auto-attacking using my attack speed steroid, when are the abilities up again that I can use them, right? Because the enemy doesn't know, but you do. And so you can play around that a lot better. But generalistic, simplistic, and tips everybody knew, right? But here's where you see it. Really, really nice damage as well. Decent survivability from those shields. Let's have a look again. 2,716 damage blocked, 831 damage dealt. 2,716. Obviously, armor penetration is pretty good on champions like this. Lethality, percentage armor penetration, and we do like movement speed in addition to all of that. Now we can shadow. We have Moss Stomper finished. We are on the Death's Dance train here. We do have some AP from the Sona and hybrid damage from the Ezreal, but not exactly, you know, Spirit Visage kind of game. So, we have Jace pushing top lane rather, kiting back when he pushes past vision line, amazing. And now there's no camps to do, so we can loop up, loop down, shadow, okay, nothing, go to Raptors, we keep our eyes on this. We can go take the Scuttle Crab as well, because the Dragon's going to be spawning. We have 682 pocket, no reason to reset, we're giga strong. We can hit this up to see where they're going, we can collapse and kill the Aurelia with an assassination. Will she expect it? No, she doesn't, she's not the Jace here. Remember, you can obviously save your W for the end there, so once she escapes, you can then use your E to gap close again. Don't need to, we just assassinate her basically. That's what lethality builds do with Collector. Hecarim goes in! Oh, he kills Zyra. See, as a Zyra main, that's my life against Hecarim. I hate it. So instead of fighting the Hecarim, we just go and kill the Sona on the backline to remove that CC. We'll turn back and just auto-attack and kill that horrible pony man. And now the ghouls will chase. We have W up again now, but again, it's an Ezreal, so got to be careful about that. Very, very good. Always use your always use your auto attack cancels on any champion you're playing, right? Nidalee in human form, for example, they're all auto attack cancels, like QWE in human form, and no one uses it properly. I don't think you're gonna escape here. Boop. I mean, 1407. Why do you need Gold Drinker again? And you got to look at it as well. Hecarim, Pantheon, Aurelia, yeah, you get the Gold Drinker usage, but Ezreal, Sona, you're not really gonna get it. Do you have an easy way in to use it? Of course. But you can just assassinate and kill them with this build instead, and we can go Spear Shojin to have better rotational spells also in this situation where team comps have sustain and also have rotational spells, right? So that helps you extra. So the Spear Shojin should be an interesting snack. We'll fall back here and take the Baron. If you need a bit more extra cash money gold, go ahead. If you want to deny the counter jungling here, go ahead. Just don't stay out too long that your back timers are disparate with your team, because your team are going to want to shove now. You take all of this and now you reset. They're up here in low elo getting killed while you're trailing, saying no.com, and it just doesn't work out for you. So one camp, get your Spear Shojin, let's go. Join them. Here's Hecarim, he's flanking. Oh my, oh dear me. Who could have foreseen a heck? Yeah, there you go. I don't think the Anivia bot lane's working out so well. I'm just going to say this. We're going to W over the wall here, and then go in afterwards. And we have obviously challenged the Pantheon, and we'll get that kill onto him. We have the bottom lane of Rele here getting chunked a little bit with the Andres. That Anivia's done nothing, right? Like, she's straight up into the game. So basically, I mean, Pantheon 2, but we made Pantheon int. Like, we controlled the Pantheon. Jace's top lane, very, very low. So he can't actually rotate at all. There we go. Nicely done. Shove down mid lane. Now, don't overcommit. Rotate to the top side or rotate to the bottom side, whichever wave seems the most primed for you. Take their camps as well as you do this. Darius here. We're here. Remember Jace bottom lane. Has no TP. Excuse me. Yeah. Don't know what game I'm playing, but he don't got no TP. Ghouls! Ezreal ult. Now we just siege. Wait for this to push in a little bit. We've got here the Nivea pinging help. I'm sorry. Just no. There we go. Hey, Pony. Nice. E into the knockup. I love that. Xin hits his knockup. We hit our root. The guy can't move. Beautifully done. We'll take the red buff. We can maybe shove this in if we need to and cut into the top side. But that's already collapsing here, so it's good. Nice and patient siege to bot lane. The uncommon 3-0-2. Because it's really easy to counter if you're in an equal game. We do hit it. WEQ, baby. I love it. Like, it's just so much easier. They're out of position, you go and you get the kill. And because, again, it's on low rotation at this particular stage, right? And you've got this, right? It's just like a free assassination. And we'll look at the data here again. 4,600 damage blocked, 1,400 damage dealt. You've got survivability, you've got excellent build path, you've got a lot of damage profile. You can build things like this healing 2,206 healing, and the collector doesn't give us the HP gained from the execute, which would be nice because it's such a small amount, but I'd like to see it added up over the course of a game. Regardless, aggressive early game junglers, tracking versus farming junglers, hopefully you learned something. Virkayu GG for your video courses and all your good stuff, and as always, I'll see you all in the next one.